glasses, so I can't read. So.
Roten?
Actually, I do have mine. You didn't put me on there, did you?
I did at the end.
I got my glasses.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know. We'll see.
We got an office ready for you.
Right down the street.
All right. Okay, we've got a resolution recognizing the retirement of Davidson County Division 7 Circuit Court Judge David Randy Kennedy. Whereas the Honorable David Randy Kennedy is the 7th Circuit Court Judge for Nashville and Davidson County, Tennessee, having been appointed by Governor Philip Bredesen in 2003 and reelected in 2004, 2006, and 2014, Judge Kennedy completed 18 years of dedicated service as probate judge for the citizens of Nashville and Davidson County, and
whereas Judge Randy Kennedy is a Nashville native who graduated from Donaldson High School, where he was a member of the 1965 Clinic Bowl Championship football team. He lettered in track and became an Eagle Scout, was the sports editor of his school paper and yearbook, and worked as a copy boy for the Nashville Banner. And whereas after graduating from Middle Tennessee State University, he worked for Aetna Casualty and Surety Company and began attending the Nashville YMCA Night Law School, now the Nashville School of Law. After serving as a branch manager for the Nashville City Bank for over 4 years, Randy Kennedy became a lawyer and joined the firm of Lancaster and Farmer. And
whereas in 1989, Randy Kennedy was elected to the Metropolitan Council, where he represented portions of the Donaldson, Hermitage, and Airport area of Nashville for the next 6 years. During his time on the Metropolitan Council, he served as chairman of the Public Works, Airport Noise Mitigation, and Rules and Confirmations Committees, and served as a member of the Public Safety Committee. And whereas Randy Kennedy co-sponsored ordinances resulting in the creation of an environmental court, the merger of the Metro General Hospital with Meharry Medical College, as well as ordinances that brought about the curbside and drop-off site recycling centers. Randy Kennedy also served as Nashville's representative on the Transportation Committee of the National League of Cities and introduced the pilot project ordinance that led to the commuter train now known as Music City Star, the only commuter rail in Middle Tennessee so far. And
whereas Judge Randy Kennedy has circuit, chancery, criminal, and probate jurisdiction, has heard probate and estate administration cases, as well as conservatorship and guardianship cases for Davidson County, Tennessee, hearing an average of over 2,000 cases per year, and according to the annual report of the judiciary, has presided over thousands of conservatorship cases during the last 10 years. And whereas Judge Randy Kennedy served as presiding judge of the 20th Judicial District from 2005 to 2007, served as the presiding judge pro tem for the trial courts of Nashville since 2017, and has served as reassignment judge from 2005 to 2022. And
Whereas Judge Randy Kennedy identified the need for a volunteer task force to compare local processes with models from other jurisdictions, to identify needs and make specific recommendations for the review and care provided by guardians and conservators. But upon the recommendations of the task force and former Metropolitan Mayor Carl Dean, the Office of Conservatorship Management was created. And whereas Judge Randy Kennedy engaged in the practice of law for 26 years before becoming the probate judge for Nashville. He is a member of the Nashville Bar Association, Tennessee Bar Association, Tennessee Trial Judges Association, National College of Probate Judges, and the Nashville Bar Foundation. Judge Kennedy also formerly served as Vice President of the Tennessee Trial Judges Association and as First Vice President of the Nashville Bar Association. And
where am I going here? Whereas Judge Randy Kennedy was a former instructor at the Nashville School of Law, where he taught wills and estates for 10 years. And whereas Judge Randy Kennedy is married to Deborah Ann Lammers Kennedy, and they are the parents of 2 children, David Jr. and Shelley Suzanne, and grandparents of Camille, Evie, and Sam Kennedy. And whereas it is fitting and proper that the Metropolitan Council extends to the Honorable David Randy Kennedy, our sincere and grateful appreciation for his dedicated service to the citizens of Nashville and Tennessee. our congratulations on a well-deserved retirement and our best wishes to him and his family for continued success, happiness, and good health in the years to come.
Last but not least, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County that the Metropolitan Council hereby goes on record as honoring Judge David Randall Kennedy upon the occasion of his requirement as Davidson County Division 7 Circuit Court Judge, and this resolution shall take effect from its adoption, the welfare of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County requiring it.
Thank you.
I'm up and say a couple words.
Okay, I'll make it very. I know that you have an extensive and difficult meeting, as you always do, and as we always did when I was a member of this august body. I've got to say to you that of all the things that I have experienced over the last few years, and certainly the last 18 and a half years of serving as a judge in this county, this one is one of the most heartwarming moments of my life. I loved my time as a member of this council. I said earlier to Councilman Evans, and I want to say it again to you, you are the first line of democracy for the people of the city of Nashville. We were back in the late 80s and the 90s, and some things never change. Roseanne is still here. Thank goodness for that. And I am so proud of all that you do and the troubles and trials and tribulations that you have to encounter in taking care of this beautiful city. You do a wonderful job, and I appreciate you bestowing this honor upon me. I cannot thank you enough for what you've said about me, and it almost sounded like I wrote it. but thank you to all of you. I so very much appreciate it. I really do. I would be remiss, however, if I didn't tell you, assuming they haven't gotten away from me yet. They may have. My judicial assistant is Miss Kitty Lammers, who's the young blonde over there, and the tall, dark-headed, beautiful lady is Bobby Jean Lamar, my staff attorney. And like you, it's the staff around you oftentimes that makes your successes go through. And my staff has really, truly made that happen for me as well. Thank you so much. I'm not going to go away. I'm just going to retire. How about that? Thank you.
Can we get a picture?
Oh, sure. Absolutely you can. Yeah. I might break your camera, but...
Councilmember Hurt.
Pretty good to see you. Courthouse won't wait you to see you when you're out here. I told somebody to come back down.
No, it's not getting you right.
I'm going to come back and do
Councilmember Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. We are extremely proud and privileged on behalf of Councilmember Larry Hager, to present a resolution honoring DeCosta Jenkins upon the occasion of his retirement as president and CEO of the Nashville Electric Service. Mr. Jenkins? It's right here. Well, I didn't see you all come up. Would you all come on up here, please?
Right here. Whereas Nashville Electric Service is one of the 12th largest public utilities in the U.S. and has more than 400,000 customers across 7 counties, served by 5,900 miles of distribution and transmission lines. And whereas DeCosta Jenkins is one of Nashville's longest tenured civic and business executives and has announced that he will retire as president and CEO of NES on June 1st, 2022, and
whereas Jenkins is a North Nashville native and joined NES as its chief financial officer in 1991 after an 11-year career at Deloitte, and whereas in 2003, Jenkins was promoted to president and CEO, and
whereas for 30 years, Jenkins has been a central behind-the-scenes figure helping Nashville accommodate the explosive growth and influx of new residents and companies, and
whereas DeCosta Jenkins has led NES with grace and determination through unprecedented circumstances, including tornadoes, intense storms, the bombing on 2nd Avenue, and the COVID-19 pandemic, and
whereas, in addition to his career with NES, Jenkins chairs the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee and serves on the board of several companies and organizations, including most recently the board of Nashville-based bank Pinnacle Financial Partners, and
whereas it is fitting and proper that the Metropolitan Council recognizes DeCosta Jenkins 30 years of hard work and dedication and wish him well in his retirement. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County that the Metropolitan County Council hereby goes on record as honoring DeCosta Jenkins upon the occasion of his retirement as president and CEO of Nashville Electric Service.
Would like to say that DJ, as he is affectionately called, except for Eugene by some of the other folk, is the epitome of Nashville's finest. He exudes Black excellence and has elevated its standards for us all. He is certainly loved by all of his employees at NES, and they will definitely miss his stellar skills, brilliance, and even his imitation of the Blues Brothers. He is a quiet and gentle soul, but he loves deeply. And he is loved more by his beautiful wife and family. And we are so proud to stand here and honor you and celebrate you for all that you have done for this city and for us as role models. Because I think you were probably one of the first for a government position as you have led NES, and for that we are so grateful to you. Thank you. Now, he sings in the choir over there at Temple Church, y'all. I don't know if we need him to.
In the interest of time, I just want to thank the members of the council, Council Lady Hurd, and the members that have served before you guys over the last 30 years, because it's a difficult job. And without the support of the council and the mayors and all others, we can't do it without you. And so the good news is I've left you in good hands. The representatives from NES are here today, and you'll see them if you hadn't seen them, but Teresa Pearl-Zappin is my replacement. And so I think they're in good hands, so we look for bigger and better. Thank you.
Brenda Wynn is DeCosta Jenkins' sister-in-law.
That's my sister.
I married up.
You want to have something to say?
It's been a long 31 years, but we made it. And so I just want to say thank you to all of you that have supported my husband during this time. We as a family love him. This is a needed retirement. He and I plan to enjoy each other's company because I retired 8 years ago as a registered nurse, and I'm still nursing on the side. So thank you so much. God bless you all.
I think